Hey, yo, what's up? It's your boy, Sir, of the 2020 Podcast, LLC. Please say the LLC. And before you listen to this episode, I just got to let you know, I need you to stop what you're doing. Go to blkrenaissance.com, and I need you to shop for the culture. That's right. Anytime you use the promo code LLC20 at Black Renaissance Clothing's website, you will get 20% off your order. Off rip, no questions asked. So do me a favor and do it for the culture. Peace.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Sade with Black on Black Rhymes. Step to the mic.
Mic check.
People always ask me where I get my confidence from, and I get it from inside. It's an inside thing, y'all. And when it comes to beautiful skin, I rock with Blendia by India, where her motto is, be confident in your skin. She has a variety of naturally made soaps to keep you smelling good, hair products for long, luscious, healthy hair, and even beard products for men. You know, we got to keep those struggle beards away. So visit BlendiaByIndia.com and use promo 2020skin to get 10% off your order. Thank you, Blendia by India, for being a sponsor of the 2020 Podcast, LLC. Please say the LLC.
Hey, this is Butter So Fly of Powerlines Poetry, here to let you know anytime I feel good, I have to look good, so you have to listen to me. Make sure you go to gurudesigns.com, use a 3 instead of an E. The website is great, so you can get something for yourself, and then she makes custom clothes for men too. And guess what? I got a promo code for you. Use 20/20 and it'll get you 15% off of any order $25 or more. You can't beat that. Go to gurudesigns.com.
The self-destruct sequence has been activated. Repeat, the self-destruct sequence has been activated. This sequence may not be aborted. All employees proceed to the emergency car at the bottom platform.
Okay, we lit it just like a fuse, so no need to pick and choose. Welcome to 2020, where we do more than interviews. The hottest be coming through, jumping knowledge on all of you. Get a bigger the front of you with the truth that they offer you. Yeah, hands up, we doing it for the culture. To give artists and businesses more exposure. Keeping it real and stay silent just like a boulder. It's about to go all the way down, can't get no lower. Chasing my dreams, know that they get no slower. But if I stay running, I promise they getting closer. Moreover, success my older. And if you're sleeping on me, I'm waking them up like Folgers. I told you, coming from the land with the tide roll. Well, we'll be on a whole different vibe though. We like to ride slow and keep our windows tinted so you really can see us like Stevie Wonder waking up with his eyes closed. Yeah, got the kind of flow that rock the boat. On my 16s of pounds of dough. And if you figure you can hang with me on the mic, then grab some rope. Matter of fact, better grab some hope. While you at it, we keep it live, it's time to tune in. Turn up the sound on what you're using. It goes so hard, I think it's bruising. The show is 2020, no need to zoom in. Yeah.
So I want you to repeat the question you asked me earlier today. That's what I want you to do.
I said, I message you.
Mhm.
Oftentimes, women discuss what their non-negotiables in a relationship are. And I wanted to know from a male perspective, what are your non-negotiables in a relationship?
Okay. Now, just to recap what I said, I was pretty much saying that mine, I feel like they're pretty simple, pretty like broad too. I want someone who displays respect. I don't mean that in like a controlling manner. A lot of people try to use respect when referring to women about trying to control you guys and get you to do whatever their vision of respect is. It's not even that. My respect is more ethical, just not belittling others, not belittling me or anybody we encounter. Like I'm the type of person where if you belittle like our waiter or waitress, like there probably won't be a date number 2. Like straight up. I take that shit so hard, like because it's just showing me what you think of people who you don't know, you know? And if you could do a stranger like that, there's no telling what you do to me when you're mad or when things aren't going your way. So that's why I make that a non-negotiable. I also brought up spirituality and religion. I don't want a person who's dead set that there's only one way to heaven or the afterlife, an outcome that we all consider positive in the afterlife. I don't want that. I want someone who's open-minded, because I definitely believe the afterlife is there. That's something that all religions can agree on. There is something after you die. But I believe the way to get to nirvana or heaven or whatever you may think that place of paradise, I think there's way more than one way to get there.
Mm-hmm.
And I want my spouse or whomever to understand. You don't even have to fully agree, but like understand that is a possibility. You get what I'm saying? And I've just dated too many hardcore Christians, and I even dated a hardcore atheist,
Wow.
and they were too much in either direction for me. I had this one who was just like, nah, bro, when you die, that's it. And I had this one who was like, you got to go get baptized with this title, and you got to say prayers for this and this and this. And if you don't do it that way within that time frame, you're going to hell. And I'm like, says who? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Where'd you get this information from? But that's another conversation. I wanted to have this conversation with you because one, you and I have known each other for like, I feel like 10 plus years.
10 plus.
Yeah.
Yes.
I really want to hear your point of view, and maybe we can go back and forth with this dialogue, because I think people have this conversation, but I think it's really surface level. And I think you and I can get kind of deep with it. So tell me what yours are.
Well, I thought of this because I was having a conversation with my cousin yesterday, and it was about a situation. And I told her, he's violating that. He's not respecting like my non-negotiables, right?
Mm.
And I kept thinking like, am I being true to myself? Am I accepting this because I want to, go further with this person? I've done so much work on myself, and like I know what I like, don't like. I know what's good for me, what's not. I know what I'm willing to accept. And she said something that was kind of, I guess, a little eye-opening for me, but I just wasn't trying to hear it. She said, well, if you're, even if you get married, there are going to be things about your spouse that you don't always agree with. And she said, if you're both dating, with intent, you have to think about the things that you absolutely, the things you absolutely cannot deal with, or the deal breakers, right? So I told her, I said, yeah, but the thing is, if someone doesn't respect those, if they're not respecting my point of view, that can make it hard to maintain this relationship. There are things I'm willing to accept and I'm leaning on, and there are things that are just like, no, those are my non-negotiables. I'm not, I'm just not bending in that area. And if I bend at this point in my life, I'm just throwing all that work I did out the window. So the non-negotiables for me, and a lot of people, I don't want to offend anybody, but it's not the top. Okay, this is no particular order.
Okay.
A man that smokes. I mean, I can't kiss you afterwards. I can't let you come and I smell you, and it's on you and it's on me. I just can't. Like, and I've dealt with people in the past that smoked or, it led to other things, and it just went all downhill, right? So the smoking is like, I just can't. If we aren't serious, maybe I could tolerate it, but like we're like seriously dating, no, I can't. I mean, just that reminds me of just like health scares in my family. It's a lot that goes on with me thinking about smoking, so I'm just not for it. I can't deal with it. And it's a smell for me. Like my mom smoked all my life, and I was just like, ugh. So, I can't deal with it. Another one is, and I have to agree with you, the respect factor. And I just need to know that you respect people's difference of opinions as well. All right.
Okay.
Like, even if it's something you don't agree with, even if it's concerning your religion and you against it, it's the fact that you can still be respectful of that person. Like, putting your personal biases to the side. Like, that's very important for me. I need somebody that knows how to be the bigger person. And even if it's something you don't agree with, you can accept. So I think that goes back to just giving people mutual respect. Whenever I'm on a date, I watch the way my date treats the service, the staff, how he interacts with the waitresses. If he flirting with the waitress, no, it ain't gonna work.
But what if we get some extra cheddar biscuits or something though? Like,
no.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I mean, I just pick up on little things. Waitresses do that for the tips. I just pick up on little things. And absolutely, like me, I have people in my family that have been in the service industry. They've been waitresses and managers in the restaurants. And so I look at how you tip people too. Like, if you believe in the tip, like I've been on dates, they just walk away. I'm like, you're not going to tip? I mean, I know everybody's pocket's a little funny sometimes, but show appreciation, especially if that server did an amazing job. Another like non-negotiable is I'm not a fan of strained family relationships. Now I understand everybody has a
Go ahead.
Well, listen, my grandma always said, if you want to know how a man would treat you, look at the way he treat his mama. Look at the way he treat the women in his family, his sisters, nieces, aunts. What level of respect is he giving them? So, I mean, like I said, we all carry baggage and trauma around from, our upbringings, but that's important to me. I need to know that even if you don't have the best like family situation, you weren't raised that way, that like that family dynamic is important to you.
I understand that.
Right. And I mean, family could be like, it's all forms of family. It don't have to be blood, right? But just that you respect and honor that, So that's very important for me as well. And until recently, I want to say within the last 3 or 4 years, I didn't understand this dynamic as well. I need somebody that is, I go to therapy and I work on myself, right? And it's not just for me, it's for my kids, people I'm around, any future relationships. I want to be the best version of myself. So I got to unpack a lot of stuff. I need somebody that's like invested. But even if you're not in therapy, you're still invested in becoming a better version of yourself and unpacking some things. So my non-negotiable will be a person that's like not concerned, with their mental health and their well-being, a person who isn't into family and not respectful of other people, no matter their title or status. Like I look at all those things.
Now you got me on that last one about mental health. Because I advocate for it as well, but it is also something I do put on the back burner. I'm not even gonna lie. That is something I can honestly say about myself. For a couple of reasons. One, my ideal, I guess, therapist, counselor, whomever, I would like a male, to be honest with you. I would enjoy a male. However, in my area, there aren't any, and that especially black males, and that's very disheartening. And I'm gonna be candid here and say it isn't that I don't feel comfortable talking to a black woman. I do that all the time. I confide in you a lot. You and I have had numerous conversations about various things. It isn't that. It's just knowing that someone you can talk to will understand where you're coming from because they've been in your position. That's different.
Right.
You and I can have a conversation about being black all day, but no offense, you will not know where I'm coming from as a black man. Only a black man can do that. And it's just a little disheartening here. But I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up. It's just a little bit tougher than what I thought. I was fortunate to get a great job with great insurance now. So It's financially feasible. It's just, there's the saying, like, it's always something. I feel like this is that something, this is that next trial. Um, Regarding family, I've heard that before. I remember hearing that phrase, if you want to know how someone's going to treat their woman, watch how they pay attention to their mother. I agree with that to a certain extent. At this point in the conversation, I had lost my guest, and so we had to test out some testicle some technical difficulties and get it resolved. But yeah, we got it back up and running.
Like, you have to be in tune with yourself. And I mean, I think that's what therapy, just the work, does for yourself. Even if you get like a workbook, whatever you have to do, just to understand how to work through your own stuff. Because when you do that work, you are more available for the person you're trying to pursue, or just even opportunities. So I think that I did all that work on myself, and it's a continuous like process. I'm not done with it, but I did it because I know that in order for me to care about somebody and love them at the level that I would want to be loved, I have to do that. So it's like me preparing for my future, not just in relationship, but I mean, that's a part of it. I think to myself, I would want someone that's whole or trying to be whole or learning about themselves. So that's that's what I have to do. I have to mirror what I want.
That part, I agree with that fully. I think a lot of people feel like they're looking for this more complete person than what they are. And I'm afraid of that because I never want to come off to a person as a emotional parasite. Like, I don't
I've
want
dealt
to
with
have,
those.
you know what I'm saying? You don't want to be dependent on somebody for that positive energy. You want to be able to create it for yourself. It's like, I'm gonna give you an example. Like, you ever seen like two broke down cars trying to like charge each other's battery?
Yes.
Like, you fuck around and leave one on too long, neither one of them hoes work. You just drain both of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I think of in terms of situation like this. So it's best to be at optimal, if possible, the optimal happiness beforehand, or at least be accessible to it. Let me ask you this. This is kind of related, but not really, but kind of. I just wanted to hear what you got to say, because somebody, my TikTok is stupid. Somebody had asked me specifically, and this was very interesting. She asked me, how, as a Black man, how do I want to be loved? And I answered in a very general way. I was saying that a lot of us get frightened by that question because we don't know. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us are so stuck in the functionality of what we think a man is, like what we can do, and not necessarily what we want. Because we were kind of taught that, once you marry a woman, you have a kid, your thoughts no longer matter. You're just a source of income. You're just the financier of the household.
Right. You had a
Um,
responsibility.
right.
Yeah.
And I think that's why a lot of men are so abrasive to that question, or like don't even consider that, because they don't want to get married, because they don't want to be. They feel like they're being used. They don't want to feel like an object. But I said all that to say this: like, how do you, Shaconna, want to be loved? Like,
Wow. Really?
yeah, I'm dead ass. I want to hear your answer. After you go, I'll go.
Oh
You
my
kind of,
God.
because don't you think this is important to know?
I think it's important, Jeremy, and I could write about this for hours, but when you say it, I
Yeah.
mean, you know what? I am going to say it, because this is a declaration. This is manifesting what I want and need in my life. And
There you
I'm
go.
going to say it out loud.
Okay, come on with it.
I want to be loved like the last person you will ever love. I want to be loved in a non-selfish manner. I want the love that you have for me to come from your heart, and that you aren't looking to gain something from it. And I think that's like the purest form is when you loving someone for them and you're not expecting something in return. I know that doesn't sound right to some people, but it shouldn't be like stipulations attached all the time. I mean, that's the kind of love I want to experience. A love that is willing to change and grow and just develop over time. I want to be loved at a steady pace because I need you to absorb and understand me. Because if it happens too fast, I feel like it's more reactive and lustful. Like, I want you to take it all in, take me in.
Okay.
So,
okay.
I mean, that's the kind of love I want.
Okay. I get what you're saying. Like, take me in doses,
right. I mean, I
there's
hope
a
that
lot.
doesn't sound like generic or general or something. I just
No, I'm being for real. Like, because I think there's a lot when it comes to a person. As much as we try to dumb ourselves down, and that's the other thing. Like when a relationship doesn't go the way that we think it should, right? Like a breakup happens, we will compartmentalize what we think is easy about us. Give you an example. Guys do it too. We'll be like, I don't be asking for much. I just want you to do blah, blah, and blah. That's it. I don't ask for everything. Yes, that might be one aspect of you, but I think we oversimplify who we are. And I think a lot of people oversimplify themselves. They think they're just a cakewalk, but on the other side of that table, you are a 1,000-piece puzzle, and sometimes there are pieces missing that you don't even know are missing.
I think that we don't want to seem difficult. We don't want to seem difficult to love. Who wants to be hard to love?
But why not though?
Because you don't even actually realize it, because you think that, well, I will say this. In the past, I felt that if I was hard, I couldn't be loved. People don't like hard. They like easy.
Why is that?
People like easy because it takes less work. But now I know I'm worth the work. And I know that because I've done the work on myself. And I know there's layers to me.
Ain't that crazy?
Yes, it is. But that's the logic. I mean, that is crazy, but that's how I mean,
crazy in a good way. Not like crazy. It's like, no, we should all just be easy loving people. No, like we all should be hard to love because we're there's no such thing as a simple human being. It's not.
And people say that. They say that like love is so easy. And I will say this, it can be easy to fall in love with somebody. But I think the work comes when you have to stay in love. You know what I mean? That's the work.
It's easy to fall in love with your idea of a person.
Right. Or the version they've shown you. Yeah.
Right. And that's my problem. I'm a Leo. I have been trained to put the best version of me first, and that's not always the most accurate version of me.
Mm-hmm. I know about those.
I ain't even gonna say nothing. But no, what happens is I put up this front, and I don't even mean like in a bad way. I put up this front on certain characteristics of me. Like, you might not know that I deal with anxiety. Mm-hmm. You might not know that I deal with depression. I won't show that to you because I don't want to scare you away. Just like we're scared of being difficult to love, I'm afraid of losing love by terrifying someone when I show them all the damage and all the bruises and all the wounds that are on my heart. When I open that up and show how vulnerable I really am, I'm afraid somebody's gonna be like, "What in the fuck is this?" No, and just run.
Or like, how could they possibly love me if they knew all this about?
Right. Why would you possibly love this dilapidated, damaged house? So that's something that I would ask myself, and I'm trying to get in a place where I wholeheartedly believe that despite what I may have done in the past or who I was in the past, I'm still entitled to the same type of forgiving and honest true love that everybody else is.
Yes, you are. You're worthy of that. Despite your shortcomings, despite the flaws and the decisions you made, that does not mean you're any less worthy of love.
Right.
At the level at that same level, and that's hard sometimes. I think we punish ourselves so much that we don't think that's a possibility. Because we like know all our flaws. We know what we done. And it's like, how could somebody possibly, like you said, possibly love me through all of that? But it takes the right person, though, because not everybody is going to.
That's true.
You can't reveal that to everybody because they're not going to be as receptive at all.
You're right. Like you said, like we was talking about in the first part, is the deal breakers. And some of the things I've done that I'm still carrying are deal breakers, and I feel like part of me telling what I told in that episode was me practicing telling the truth to the person that it matters to. I don't want to carry secrets. I think of the song Bag Lady a lot, like lately, like the different types of trauma and baggage that we carry willingly, like how much of this shit are we gonna carry on to just because it's a secret?
Let's give just the legend that Erykah Badu is, and how when I was a shorty that went like way over my head, and now that I got real life shit like hitting the fan, and I'm in my 30s, and I can process and understand, like, wow, I've lived life, and like that song has definitely a new meaning for this version of me.
It's a lot of mediums that have really changed my scope on stuff. Music has definitely shaped a lot of it. A lot of podcasts now have opened my eyes to things. I'm now listening to a lot more, and this is crazy, and I don't mind saying this out loud. I'm listening to a lot more women talk podcasts, and the reason being, a while ago, young lady I'm courting said, "What do you think about this topic?" And it was something regarding Black women, and I swear to God, there was the conversation. I had told her, "Well, I don't really have an opinion." And she was like, "Why?" I was like, "Well, because whenever Black men say something regarding Black women, we get lashed out at." And she looked at me and she was like, "That's problematic." I was like, "Yeah, I know." She was like, "Nah, the fact that you don't have an opinion, or you think I'm incapable of understanding where you're coming from, so you're afraid to say what it is that you think." I was floored.
But that's the truth. It's not that you don't have an opinion.
It was. It 100% was. She was like, "You're just avoiding the conversation."
Right.
And she was like, "There is a serious topic I'm asking you about for a reason. And it's regarding Black women. And I'm a Black woman. And you're telling me you're indifferent? What do you say?" Like I had to come clean.
She called you out.
She called my spade. She called my spade. She absolutely called my spade. And it was another topic we had conversations about, like with Kevin Samuels. I know everybody rolls their eyes when it comes to him. Let me tell you why I have listened to episodes of his before. I always want to know what niggas like that are thinking. like what are they saying and what they're thinking? I ain't gotta agree. I just gotta hear your point so I can hear it for myself. I don't want to go by clips. I don't want to go by hearsay or other people's reactions. I want to hear it from you in the context you meant and then go from there. And I told her, I'm like, hey, he said some fucked up shit, but I get what he was saying. And she was like, oh, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? She was like, but have you ever done the same thing for black women? Like, you ever really just, even though you may not agree with what they're saying, you ever listen to the context it's coming from? I was like, no.
I like her.
Right. I was like, no. Now I'm going back and listening. Like,
right. Just hear them out.
I took offense to any time a black woman was like, niggas ain't shit. Ooh, black man ain't blah, 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 blah. And what the problem was, I was getting triggered. So my ears would just turn off. But now I listen and I realize they're not talking to all of us. They're talking about the ones that this particular situation applies to. And sometimes they do generalize, but that's okay. That's all right. They have a right to do that. I said to my homeboy the other day, we were talking about what people think about you. Because there was someone, he's a podcaster too, very good friend of mine. And he said something in regards to a sporting event, and somebody came at him saying he was saying something that he clearly was not. Right. And he was livid. He called me, he was like, Jay, this nigga keeps trying me. Woo, 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 woo. What am I supposed to do? I'm like, bro, let me ask you this. Why are you so upset? He was like, because this nigga think he's saying what I think I said. I was like, but you know what you said, right? He was like, yeah. I was like, let me put it to you this way. 1 + 1 = 2, right? He was like, yeah. I was like, every day of the week, 1 + 1 = 2. He was like, yeah. If you know that for a fact, why would you argue 1 + 1 = 3? You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's how I look at everything. If I feel bothered, that means that there's another layer under there.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So I challenged him to look at himself and ask him why he's getting bothered. But I will say this, listening to these women have gotten me to think on another level. What I mean by that is, like, I do a lot of selfish shit that I didn't realize was selfish. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's a lot of male privilege that I get that I didn't realize. And
Men
I just
don't realize that.
I had no clue.
Y'all don't realize the selfish? Y'all don't. It goes over y'all heads for real. And, you know, and I'm glad you did listen to that, that you are entertaining and listen to female podcasters and their sides and not just taking it from the woman. Because then you'd be like, oh, she's just nagging. She's just saying it. You know, you got to get the other perspective.
Sorry, I had to address a phone call. But and nobody called me unless I'm recording. I swear to God, nobody calls me until I hit that record button. But yeah, I now go into the conversations. Like, I'm in Clubhouse now. Clubhouse is amazing. I just go and listen. I just go and listen.
You lurk?
Yes, I'm a creep. I'm a creep on Clubhouse, and I'm perfectly fine with that. But it's because I just want to hear y'all talk. I want to hear y'all point of view. Right. Like, even with you in your episode that you recently dropped, as soon as I seen that it hit, I got a notification. I downloaded and I listened to you on my way to work. First off, excellent job. Excellent job.
Thank you, friend.
I like the fact that you guys are speaking about self-image and the way you view yourself and the unnecessary pressures that people can put on you as far as a goal goes. Nigga, I felt that when you was like, not to put a little bit out there, but you was talking about you took a semester off.
Right.
And I was like, ooh, talk to it. I thought you was going to graduate such and such. I'm like, nigga, talk about it, bruh. Talk about it. People don't understand how much weight their words can hold, especially in our community. Like,
yes,
I love our people, but I'm so glad we breaking this cycle of poor communication. And I definitely feel like that just the way I am is going to eventually die out because as a people, as millennials, we are demanding more from ourselves, and I'm glad our children will demand more from theirs and such. This shit gonna be a wrap in a little while.
But you know what? It's making a lot of people uncomfortable.
Fuck them.
But I'm glad that it's happening. I'm so glad that it's happening because I was raised on that, like you said, you do as I say, not as I do, and you just do it because I told you to. Like I was raised that way, and I saw myself like pouring that into my oldest two, but it was because that's what I mimicked, and I got a child that I have to respond to him differently. I have to treat him differently, so I got to learn a different parent approach, and I was outside my comfort zone because that's all I saw.
Mm-hmm.
And I was relating that to disrespect, but it wasn't. He was just inquisitive. He's growing and learning. And he knows a lot. He knows what's disrespectful ones and what's not. And I don't want him to feel like he has to, like, someone should silence him or he doesn't have a voice. I don't want him to feel that way because I often felt that way as a child. I mean, I did what I wanted to anyway. But, that was just like, no, you don't have an opinion. You're a child. So
Right.
I'm so glad that I'm okay with having my voice and my opinion. And I think that social media has like played a huge part in that.
Mm-hmm.
And people feeling like they can stand up and say things, even if it's behind, the keyboard, they're able to, open up and say what they want. And, and I think it's happening. And I could see maybe within the next generation, that whole, like, the idea of just doing what you're taught and not speaking up for yourself. Like, I think that would be extinct. Honestly, I do. And I mean, it has to, because we need to raise children with more confidence. And you can't do that if you're just like stagnant in their growth and not contributing to them as a whole. And it's so many kids that are lost and feel like they don't have a voice. And we're not taking it no more. That's over. That's a wrap.
Yeah. Yeah. I when you're right, social media definitely allowed us a platform to discuss en masse like shit we did not like as a kid. And seeing the overwhelming majority of people being like, yeah, fuck that. I ain't with it. And just seeing somebody being brave enough to be like, nah, fuck that. I'm the black sheep of the family and I'm happy as fuck. And niggas being like, you happy? Happy? I want to be happy too. Fuck that shit too. Cause like we are flipping tables as like millennials. And Gen Z, I see them burning shit to the ground. And look, I'm for it. I'm high-fiving their ass as they protest. I'm like, look, I thought the shit was stupid too. You know what I'm saying? Go for it. Y'all need some gas money. Here you go.
Right.
I'll work from the inside to make sure y'all straight on the outside. You know what I'm saying? I'm so proud of this upcoming generation.
The revolution starts with the children, huh? They the ones that got the voices. That's that generation that's going to speak. And people don't give them credit enough for that, and they try to discount, because of the choices they make or how they live on social media. But if you let them know that they do have power, that's what they feel they need to do at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what anything political. Like I've seen kids just like take a stand for what's right, even when their parents don't feel that way. And it's just been refreshing to watch because I know what that means to them. And I couldn't do it.
Right. Because we was taught, nah, you don't speak that. What happens in this house stays in this house.
Stays
like all
in
that
this
shit.
house. Oh
all
my God.
that shit out the window.
That's the most toxic thing you could say to somebody.
It is. It is strategically manipulative.
Yes.
And
it
we
is
never
very
saw
manipulative.
Mm-hmm.
Because you put a responsibility on the child that if they say something wrong, they're the reason that family unit failed. That's too much to put on a child.
Correct. Mother effing wrecked. Yes.
Yes. So I've never told that to my. Oh wow. Yeah. Now that I think about it, it was like parenting through manipulation.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I want to go back on that. that you listen to my episodes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you. And I was like, did he listen to it? I'm not going to ask him.
Mhm. I totally did. I totally did. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's very interesting to hear the opposite sex's point of view. And it's it's not for like recon or anything. I know what it's like being me, but I
Mhm.
want to know, to be more empathetic to you guys, to understand the way you guys work and the way you think. I need to see through your vision, and platforms like yours allow me to do that. So thank you for being as transparent as you were. Y'all had a good time, but
We had a good time.
I thank you. That was very enlightening. That time flew by. I look forward to you guys doing the second one, or if you do the second one by yourself, or whatever you may do. I can't wait to hear more of it.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm going to do some solo stuff too. And I asked you that question about the non-negotiables because sometimes me as a woman, I could be blinded about, I'm just zooming in on my wants, my needs.
Mhm.
This happened to me, and woe is me all the time. I'm misunderstood. I'm not, and I'm like, I have 3 boys. The male perspective is very, very important to me.
Mm.
And I'm very cautious of what I present to my children. I've never been when you say that some women say all men, men are dogs, and I'm not that person in the friendship. I never say those things. And I have friends that say it, and I understand where they coming from, but I understand that we are individuals. Yes, you are a male. Yes, you are a black male, but you're not the black male that hurt me.
Mm.
And despite things I've been through, I'm blessed because I've kept that with me. I know that not everyone has hurt me. And I mean, I consider that to be like a privilege because every woman, despite the things they've been through, they don't have that perspective. They can't separate the two. And I don't want to cause like further damage to myself by repeating those things out loud when I
Mm.
know they aren't true. But I know some people project. And I would never tell my friend, hey, don't say that, because she has the right to feel that way if that's how she feels in that moment. But
Mm.
I just listen, and even like sometimes like stuff from my past relationships may come up and I catch myself. Like I'm very good about that. Like I'll say, hey, that wasn't him that did that to you. You need to resolve that first.
Mm.
And I've always done that. I mean, I don't know why, but I just felt like it was unfair because I never want someone to like, just group or generalize me like that.
The more we have these conversations, I feel like the more we are like expanding the conversation, like parameters. You know what I'm saying? It's like the more we have this conversation, the deeper and the more comfortable people will feel with addressing certain topics we just assume,
Mm-hmm.
like where each other stand. So this I enjoy. This I enjoy fully. So yeah. Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
So
Thank you
um,
for being transparent. And I know that like it was random as hell for me to ask you what were your non-negotiables.
I was driving home from work and I'm like, "What the fuck? What?" Like that.
Anything I ever message you is always random though.
So I was like, that came out of left field. Okay. Look, I was finna hit your ass with that. I don't know.
That's not what I wanted to hear, Jared.
Right.
That's not what I wanted to hear. I needed to know. So I said, I'm going to the source. You are always like honest and transparent with me. So if I'm not get the truth, like if I can't get the truth from anybody else, I know you're gonna give it to me. So